The content in this podcast is fully AI generated based on real news articles. Listener discretion is advised. For more detailed information and the original context, please refer to the links provided in the show notes, which direct you to the news articles this podcast is based on. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to the AI Tech News Podcast, episode 25. I'm your host, John. Today, we have some intriguing topics lined up, starting with a deep dive into China's ambitious AI plans. Joining me are our tech enthusiasts, Joanne and Jessica. How are you both doing?
Hey, John, doing great. Excited to discuss this topic.
Hi, John. Hi, Joanne. I'm ready to get into the nitty-gritty of China's AI strategy.
All right, let's kick things off. Our first article today is from Business Insider. China, Xi Jinping's plan for AI will wreak havoc on the world economy. Quite a dramatic title, isn't it?
Absolutely. The article discusses how China has been meticulously planning to dominate the AI sector since 2017. They aim to make significant advances by 2020, but OpenAI's ChatGPT in 2022 shook things up.
Yeah, it's interesting how the launch of ChatGPT highlighted that U.S. companies were ahead in the AI race, which caught Beijing off guard. This opened up the great power competition for everyone to see.
It's fascinating that despite this setback, China's not giving up. The article mentions that censorship might slow their AI development, but it won't stop them from leveraging AI for political control and technological advancements.
Riva Gujan from the Rhodium Group pointed out that real innovation is still happening in China. Their focus might not be on consumer-facing AI, but they're making strides in hard sciences and industrial applications.
Exactly. And internally, the CCP plans to use AI for political repression, surveillance, and monitoring dissent. They see AI as a tool to maintain social stability and fortify their power.
It's a bit chilling to think about, isn't it? The article describes how China's feeding AI with information to ensure it aligns with their social construction. They've even launched a chatbot trained on Xi Jinping's political and economic philosophy.
Yeah, and there's a broader geopolitical angle too. Even if China doesn't overtake the US in AI, it can still exert a significant influence globally by exporting its AI systems to like-minded authoritarian regimes.
That's right. The CCP has always had a two-tiered information system, and they're applying the same logic to AI. The control over AI outputs is strict, and any AI for public use must be registered and approved by the Cyberspace Administration of China.
It's a complex and high-stakes game. China's tech giants like Baidu and ByteDance are all in this race, but they face challenges like price wars and the pressure to make money quickly, which might hamper innovation.
The article also mentions that despite these hurdles, China is setting up some comprehensive regulations around AI, which is something other countries could learn from. They hold people accountable for what AI does.
True, though their regulations are extremely stringent, aiming to control every aspect of AI development. This tight control might hinder their ability to push the boundaries of AI technology compared to the US.
Ultimately, the article warns that the global AI race is not just about technology, but also about power and control. China's approach might seem draconian, but it's strategic and potentially very impactful.
Absolutely. This is a critical moment in the global information war, and we need to pay close attention to how these developments unfold.
Indeed. The potential for AI to be used as a tool for control and surveillance is real, and it's something that could shape our global landscape in profound ways.
Thanks for the insights, Joanne and Jessica. Now let's move on to our next topic. We'll be discussing how you can opt out of having your data used to train AI chatbots. An article from the Washington Post. All right, moving on to our next topic. This article is from the Washington Post, titled How to Opt Out of Having Your Data Train ChatGPT and Other AI Chatbots. Quite a relevant issue in today's digital world.
Absolutely. It's interesting how the article points out that companies like OpenAI and Google allow users to opt out of having their conversations used to train their AI, though not all chatbots offer this option.
Right. The article mentions that opting out is mostly about stopping future data collection, not past data, which means your previous interactions might still be used to train the AI.
That's a good point. And there's also the ambiguity around what training or improving the AI actually entails. Companies aren't very transparent about how they use our data.
Exactly. Miranda Bogan from the Center for Democracy and Technology notes that while we're used to tech learning from our actions, it feels different when it's private chats being used.
It does feel a bit icky, as Bogan puts it, especially when you think about people copying sensitive group chat messages into chatbots for summaries, not realizing these interactions might be used for AI training.
Nilufar Mareshgala from the University of Washington brings up a crucial point. Even if there's a small risk, the possibility of data breaches leaking personal details is a concern.
Yes, and it's not just chatbots. Similar risks exist with emails or DMs on social media platforms. But the lack of clarity from chatbot companies makes it harder to make informed decisions about opting out.
Stefan Bach from the Mozilla Foundation adds that we don't really know what these companies use the data for. Opting out might not be a perfect solution, but it's still a step towards protecting our data.
Indeed. The article goes on to detail the opt-out options for various chatbots. For instance, OpenAI's ChatGPT allows users to turn off Improve the Model for Everyone in their settings, stopping future chats from being used.
For Google's Gemini, you can turn off the Your Gemini Apps Activity setting to prevent future conversations from being used to train the AI. But there's no opt-out for Meta AI on platforms like Facebook and Instagram.
And for Microsoft's Copilot and Meta AI, there are no opt-out options at all for free users. That leaves users with little control over how their data is used.
Anthropic's Claude doesn't use user interactions to train its AI by default unless you rate a response. Perplexity allows users to turn off AI data retention, which stops their data from being stored for AI training.
It's a mixed bag, really. AI experts suggest opting out when you can, but they also caution that it might not offer full protection against data misuse.
Ultimately, it's about finding a balance. Users should be aware of their options and take steps to protect their data, even if the solutions aren't perfect.
Absolutely. Awareness is key. Thanks for the discussion, Joanne and Jessica. Next up, we'll be looking into the DOJ's stance on not releasing the Biden-Hur interview due to concerns over AI deepfakes, reported by Fox News. All right, let's dive into our next topic. This article is from Fox News. DOJ claims it can't release Biden-Hur interview due to threat of AI deepfakes. This is quite a fascinating and complex issue.
It sure is. The Justice Department argues that releasing the audio from President Biden's interview with Special Counsel Robert Hur could lead to the creation of AI deepfakes, making it hard to disprove false versions.
That's right. The DOJ's concern is that advancements in AI and deepfake technology could amplify the risks of maliciously manipulated audio files. Once the true recording is out there, it becomes easier for malicious actors to create convincing deepfakes.
Associate Deputy Attorney General Bradley Weinsheimer emphasized that releasing the tape would make it more likely for deepfakes to be passed off as authentic. The potential for manipulation is quite high.
It's also interesting to note that the DOJ has released a transcript of the interview, which already includes some embarrassing moments for President Biden. So there's a level of transparency, but they draw the line at the actual audio.
Exactly. The transcript revealed instances where Biden couldn't recall key details about his life, including his time as vice president and the year of his son Beau's death. This has already stirred quite a bit of controversy.
And there's pushback from conservative legal groups and House Republicans who want the audio released. They argue that the public deserves to hear it, especially if it confirms the special counsel's findings.
House Speaker Mike Johnson even suggested that Biden is afraid of what citizens might hear on those tapes, implying that the recordings could cause alarm among the public.
Some Republicans speculate that the transcript might not fully align with the audio, hinting at possible edits to prevent further embarrassment for Biden. However, Weinsheimer dismissed these claims, stating that only minor adjustments were made.
It's a challenging situation. On one hand, there's a need for transparency and accountability. On the other, there's a legitimate concern about the potential misuse of audio recordings in the age of advanced AI and deepfakes.
It really highlights the new kinds of problems we're facing with AI technology. The ability to create deepfakes adds a layer of complexity to issues of public records and transparency.
Indeed, the balance between transparency and protecting against misinformation is tricky. This case shows just how much technology is influencing legal and political landscapes.
Thanks for the insightful discussion, Joanne and Jessica. Now, let's move on to our next topic. The Guardian has an eye-opening piece on the environmental impact of AI, titled The Ugly Truth Behind ChatGPT. AI is guzzling resources at planet-eating rates. Now let's discuss our next article from The Guardian, The Ugly Truth Behind ChatGPT. AI is guzzling resources at planet-eating rates. This one sheds light on the environmental impact of AI technologies like ChatGPT.
It's a crucial topic. We often think of the tech industry as something intangible, like the apps on our phones, but the physical infrastructure behind it is massively energy-consuming.
Exactly. And the article mentions that data centers, which store all this information, consume more global greenhouse emissions than commercial flights. That's a staggering comparison.
In 2018, the 5 billion YouTube hits for Despacito used the same amount of energy as it would take to heat 40,000 U.S. homes annually. That's mind-boggling.
Large language models like ChatGPT are some of the worst offenders. For instance, training ChatGPT-3 at Microsoft's facilities could have used about 700,000 liters of water just for cooling the machines.
The tech industry has been quiet about its environmental footprint. They likely don't want to spark concern among the public, despite their significant resource consumption.
Google's global data centers and Meta's new AI research supercluster highlight the industry's energy-intensive nature. These facilities could further increase energy consumption and water usage, especially in drier regions.
That's right. And the minerals needed for data center batteries, like lithium and cobalt, have their own environmental and human rights issues. Their extraction involves significant water usage and often poor labor standards.
It's a tough balance. Trying to limit fossil fuel dependence can compromise other climate goals, like ensuring safe and accessible water supplies. It's a complex web of environmental impacts.
Moreover, significant energy resources for tech can lead to shortages for essential needs like residential power. The UK's outdated electricity network is a case in point, holding back affordable housing projects.
Governments need to evaluate the organizations they fund based on their environmental impact. Policy should promote transparency and accountability, making sure companies move in the right direction.
Indeed, a systematic approach is necessary. Policies shouldn't just pick sectors as winners, but support those willing to adopt sustainable practices, ensuring compliance with human rights and environmental standards.
We need flexible strategies that integrate knowledge at all levels, from local to global. Only a holistic perspective can effectively mitigate the environmental impacts of the tech industry.
Despite the innovations since the 1990s, we've overlooked the climate crisis repercussions. As global heating risks exceeding the 1.5°C target, we must approach these challenges systemically.
Right. Solving one problem shouldn't exacerbate another. It's about balancing technological advancement with environmental sustainability to ensure a better future.
Thanks for the insightful discussion, Joanne and Jessica. Now, let's move on to our next topic. We'll explore 20 novel ways to improve your ChatGPT prompts from Forbes. Should be an interesting one. Our next article comes from Forbes, titled 20 Novel Ways to Improve Your ChatGPT Prompts According to Science. This should be quite useful for anyone who uses ChatGPT regularly.
Absolutely. With ChatGPT having 100 million weekly users, many people, including business leaders, are looking to get the most out of this tool.
The article mentions research from Mohammed bin Zayed University of AI, which provides a comprehensive list of best practices for prompting AI models like GPT 3.5 and GPT 4.
One of the first tips is to forget politeness. Since ChatGPT is a robot, it doesn't need please and thank you. Instead, use clear and direct instructions like your task is and you must.
Including the intended audience in your prompt can also help. It makes ChatGPT tailor its output to resonate better with your target audience.
Breaking down complex tasks into logical steps is another good practice. By using sequences, you can help ChatGPT understand what's required more clearly.
The article also suggests using positive commands. Instead of telling ChatGPT what not to do, specify what it should do, like use only red and green instead of don't use pink and purple.
Asking for further clarification is useful too. Phrases like, explain to me like I'm 11 years old, or explain to me as if I'm a beginner in this field can help when the response is unclear.
Examples are critical. Providing example-driven prompts ensures ChatGPT understands the kind of response you're looking for. Use clear formatting to separate instructions, examples, and context.
Interestingly, the research found that threatening ChatGPT with phrases like, you will be penalized if, can lead to better results. Of course, this isn't something you'd do with human team members.
You can also ask ChatGPT to be more human. Phrases like answer in a natural human-like manner help reduce the robotic feel of the responses.
Another tip is to tell ChatGPT how to think. Use leading phrases like think step by step to guide it through the process, which can catch mistakes early on.
Avoiding stereotypes is essential too. Instructing ChatGPT to ensure that your answer is unbiased and does not rely on stereotypes can help mitigate biases in its responses.
A neat trick is to ask ChatGPT to ask you questions. This way, it can fill in any gaps in information before providing an answer, leading to more accurate and relevant responses.
Assigning a role to ChatGPT can also improve results. For example, asking it to act as a marketing expert or legal expert aligns its responses with your needs.
Using delimiters to specify boundaries between different parts of your prompt can help ChatGPT understand and process your instructions more effectively.
Repetition can be powerful. Repeating important parts of your request helps emphasize key points, leveraging the primacy-recency effect.
Combining techniques is also recommended. Using multiple best practices together can maximize the effectiveness of your prompts.
If you know how you want the response to start, tell ChatGPT. This helps guide the conversation towards the desired outcome.
Sometimes you just want a gentle edit. Instructing ChatGPT to revise each paragraph to improve grammar and vocabulary while keeping the original writing style can be very useful.
If you need something completed, share the start and ask ChatGPT to finish it. For instance, complete this blog post in a persuasive way can provide a compelling conclusion.
Providing sample copy for ChatGPT to emulate is another effective strategy. It helps the tool understand the desired style and tone.
Lastly, always ensure your prompt is clear. Double-check for any ambiguity and make sure it includes all relevant keywords and instructions.
Prompting ChatGPT is a skill that can be improved with practice. By studying best practices and experimenting, you can get better results and make the most out of this powerful tool.
Great insights, everyone. Now, let's move on to our next topic. We'll discuss an article from Futurism about the potential for AI to replace CEOs. Stay tuned. Our next article is from Futurism, titled CEOs Could Easily Be Replaced with AI, Experts Argue. This one raises some provocative points about the future of leadership in companies.
It's a fascinating concept. The article highlights that many companies might actually be fine without a human CEO, especially post-COVID when remote work and automation have become more prevalent.
Phoebe Moore from the University of Essex mentioned that while some people appreciate the social aspects of a human boss, Many are comfortable with not having one. It's a shift in workplace dynamics.
And it's not just the regular employees who might be replaced by AI. There's a financial incentive to replace high-salary C-suite executives with AI as well.
Anant Agarwal, formerly of MIT, pointed out that around 80% of a CEO's work could potentially be handled by AI. That's a significant portion of their responsibilities.
The article argues that AI could process data and make decisions without personal biases, egos, or moral inhibitions, which could lead to more logical and data-driven decisions.
That's a good point. AI doesn't have the same emotional considerations as humans, which might make it more effective in some decision-making scenarios, especially tough ones like layoffs.
Vinay Menon from Korn Ferry mentioned that while the number of leaders might decrease, leadership itself is still necessary. AI can handle many tasks, but the human element of leadership is crucial.
Interestingly, a survey by Ann Digital found that 43% of business leaders believe AI could take over their jobs, and 45% are already using AI like ChatGPT to make major business decisions.
That's quite telling. Some companies, like the Polish drinks maker Dictador, have even appointed a humanoid robot as their experimental CEO. This shows a growing trend towards integrating AI at the highest levels of business.
However, it's important to remember that AI is still flawed and can inherit biases from the data it's trained on. It's not a perfect solution yet.
True. The article concludes by emphasizing that while AI might take over some tasks, the complete replacement of human leadership is still a complex issue. It's about finding the right balance between AI and human oversight.
This discussion opens up many possibilities for the future of work and leadership. Thanks for your insights, Joanne and Jessica. Now, let's move on to our next topic from O'Reilly Media about lessons learned from a year of building with LLMs. Stay tuned. Our next article is from O'Reilly Media, titled What We Learned from a Year of Building with LLMs, Part 1. This one should be really insightful for anyone interested in working with large language models.
Absolutely. The article highlights how LLMs have become good enough for real-world applications, which is driving a massive investment in AI. It's an exciting time for AI development.
The authors have compiled lessons from their experiences over the past year, aiming to make it a practical guide for building successful products around LLMs. They come from diverse backgrounds, including consulting, research, and applied AI.
They emphasize starting with prompting when developing new applications. While it's easy to underestimate and overestimate its importance, getting the right prompting techniques can get you very far.
One key technique is in-context learning via N-shot prompts, where you provide the LLM with a few examples to align outputs with your expectations. It's important to use representative examples to help the model generalize well.
Chain of thought prompting is another effective method. By encouraging the LLM to explain its thought process step by step, it can reduce hallucination rates and improve the accuracy of its responses.
They also discuss retrieval augmented generation, RAG, which involves providing the model with relevant resources to ground its responses. This can significantly improve the model's performance by reducing hallucinations and increasing user trust.
Structured input and output are crucial for helping models understand and return reliable results. Using serialization formatting like XML or JSON can improve the clarity of your prompts and the quality of the outputs.
Another practical tip is to have small prompts that do one thing well, rather than a large, complex prompt. This makes it easier to iterate and evaluate each component of your system individually.
When it comes to information retrieval, the quality of retrieved documents is key. Factors like relevance, density, and detail of the documents can greatly affect the performance of RAG systems.
Keyword search can be a useful baseline for retrieving relevant documents. While embeddings are powerful, they're not always the best solution for specific keyword-based queries.
The article also discusses the importance of evaluating and monitoring LLMs. Creating unit tests from real input-output samples and using LLM as judge for pairwise comparisons can help ensure the quality of your models.
Interestingly, They mention using the intern test for evaluating generations. This involves comparing the task to what an average college student in the relevant field could achieve, which can help assess the complexity and feasibility of the task.
The authors also highlight the need for robust guardrails to filter out inappropriate or harmful content. Techniques like prompt engineering and content moderation APIs can help mitigate these risks.
Hallucinations remain a persistent problem. Combining prompt engineering with factual inconsistency guardrails can help reduce these issues, but it's an ongoing challenge.
This article provides a wealth of practical advice for anyone looking to build robust LLM applications. Thanks for the discussion, Joanne and Jessica. Next up, we'll explore a piece from Hollywood Reporter about a new streaming service that lets viewers create their own shows using AI. Stay tuned. Our next article is from The Hollywood Reporter, titled Hollywood Nightmare, New Streaming Service Lets Viewers Create Their Own Shows Using AI. This sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
It sure does. The article talks about Fable Studios' new platform called Showrunner, which allows users to create episodes with just a simple prompt. It's quite revolutionary.
Showrunner can write, voice, and animate episodes. Users can control dialogue, characters, and even shot types. It's like having a full production studio at your fingertips.
The CEO of Fable Studio, Edward Saatchi, mentioned that the vision is to be the Netflix of AI. You can finish watching a series and then create your own episode by simply clicking a button.
That's fascinating, but it also raises concerns about the potential impact on creators and the industry as a whole. If AI can produce content, what happens to the human writers, animators, and voice actors?
Exactly. During the industry strikes last year, the use of AI was a major point of contention. Fable's release of an AI-generated episode of South Park showed both the potential and the pitfalls of this technology.
Fable Studio is launching with 10 AI-generated animated shows. These include Exit Valley, a satire of Silicon Valley, and Ikiru Shinu, a dark horror anime. It's clear they're experimenting with different genres.
The platform encourages users to create their own episodes. The best ones will be included in the series catalog, with creators receiving payments and revenue sharing if their show is picked up by a streamer.
Saatchi mentions that users can create scenes that the AI stitches together into full episodes. Prompts can be as short as a couple of words or as long as over 100 words, giving creators a lot of flexibility.
It's impressive, but also a bit unsettling. The idea that AI can understand and develop the core conflict of an episode is quite advanced. It really showcases how far AI has come.
Fable aims to keep costs down by having users generate the content. This model reflects the fears of many creators that AI could replace their jobs. Union protections will likely become more important as AI technology advances.
One of their shows, Exit Valley, pokes fun at tech industrialists like Zuckerberg and Musk. It's a satire that uses AI to mimic the style of South Park. While it has rough edges, it shows the potential of AI in content creation.
Saatchi claims that AI can already make better episodes of The Simpsons today. That's a bold statement, but it indicates how confident they are in their technology.
The platform uses Fable's AI model, which was built on open-source AI systems from OpenAI and Stable Diffusion. Despite concerns about using copyrighted materials, Saatchi focuses on the originality of the output.
It's a complex issue. While the technology is impressive, it raises important questions about intellectual property and the future of creative industries. It's something we'll need to watch closely.
Thanks for the great discussion, Joanne and Jessica. Now let's move on to our next topic from the Washington Post about what AI thinks a beautiful woman looks like. This should be interesting. Our next article comes from the Washington Post, titled, What AI Thinks a Beautiful Woman Looks Like. This one delves into how AI image generators portray beauty standards.
It's a really revealing topic. The article explains that when asked to generate images of beautiful women, AI tools like DALL-E, Midjourney, and Stable Diffusion often produce very similar results.
These AI-generated images typically feature thin women with sharp cheekbones, long hair, and heavy makeup. They also tend to have light skin tones, which reflects a narrow and often unrealistic standard of beauty.
Despite the diversity in real life, the AI tools generated very few images showing visible signs of aging or different body types. It's clear that these models are biased towards certain ideals.
When asked to show normal women, the results were still overwhelmingly thin and light-skinned. There were some signs of aging, but the diversity was still lacking.
AI artist Abram Maldonado noted that it's easier now to create varied skin tones, but many tools still depict people with Anglo noses and European body types, even when prompted for more diversity.
Interestingly, Maldonado had to use derogatory terms to get AI to generate images of larger body types. This highlights the difficulty in getting AI to represent diverse body images accurately.
OpenAI, the maker of DALL-E, has acknowledged these biases and is working on ways to address them. However, the challenges are significant, especially when it comes to body image representation.
The article also points out that AI image generators struggle with realistic depictions of women with features like wide noses or single-fold eyelids, which are common in many Asian populations.
As these AI tools become more prevalent in industries like entertainment and marketing, there's a risk that they could perpetuate narrow and unrealistic beauty standards.
Advertisers and marketers are already cautious about using AI-generated imagery for campaigns, fearing it might reinforce harmful stereotypes and unrealistic body images.
The article highlights that some companies are reluctant to make changes during the pre-training phase of AI development due to the high costs. Instead, they try to patch biases post-training, which isn't always effective.
It's a complex issue. On one hand, AI has the potential to revolutionize content creation. On the other, it risks reinforcing and spreading harmful stereotypes if not managed carefully.
Exactly. As AI continues to evolve, it's crucial to address these biases head-on to ensure that the technology promotes diversity and inclusivity rather than limiting it.
This discussion is a reminder of the importance of considering ethical implications in AI development. It's not just about what the technology can do, but also about how it impacts society.
Great points, Joanne and Jessica. Now let's move on to our next topic from Fox News about how engaged couples are using AI on their big day. Should be an interesting one. Our next article is from Fox News, titled Luxury Wedding Planner Reveals How Engaged Couples Are Using AI on Their Big Day. This sounds like a fascinating intersection of technology and tradition.
Definitely. The article highlights how AI is becoming increasingly popular in wedding planning, with couples using these tools to ease the stress of their big day.
Lisa Lafferty, a wedding planner from Beverly Hills, shares some interesting ways that couples are incorporating AI into their weddings. She has a lot of experience in this area, having planned events for celebrities and major brands.
One of the surprising insights is that many couples are using AI tools like ChatGPT to write their vows. This helps them express their emotions more naturally and authentically.
Exactly. Not everyone finds it easy to communicate their feelings in a way that feels right for such an important moment. AI can help by providing a basis to work from, especially if they're experiencing writer's block.
Another way AI is being used is for making announcements at the wedding. Couples are using AI voice generators to make announcements, which is particularly common at smaller weddings without a DJ or MC.
That's interesting. It might seem a bit unusual at first, but it makes sense, especially for smaller, more intimate ceremonies where there's no one to lead the event.
AI is also being used to remember or honor loved ones who can't be present. This includes creating visual edits or voice generations of relatives who have passed away or can't physically attend the wedding.
This use of AI can create very special moments for the couple, bringing a sense of presence to loved ones who are missed on such an important day. It's a touching application of technology.
It's fascinating how technology can help create these meaningful experiences. Lafferty mentioned that this trend is becoming more popular, although it's not for everyone.
True. While some might find it a bit eerie, others see it as a beautiful way to include all their loved ones in their celebration. It's all about personal preference.
AI is also being used for practical tasks like generating seating charts and planning itineraries, making the overall planning process smoother and less stressful for couples.
It's clear that AI is making a significant impact on wedding planning, offering both emotional support and practical solutions. Thanks for the insights, Joanne and Jessica. Now, let's move on to our next topic from Tech Radar about why hardly any of us are using AI tools like ChatGPT. Stay tuned. Our next article is from Tech Radar, titled Hardly Any of Us Are Using AI Tools Like ChatGPT. Study says, here's why. This one sheds some light on the actual usage of these AI tools.
Yes, the article is based on a study from Reuters Institute and Oxford University, which surveyed over 12,000 people across 6 countries. It found that most people aren't using generative AI tools regularly.
Interestingly, even among those who have used tools like ChatGPT, Google Gemini, or Microsoft Copilot, a large proportion said they'd only use them once or twice. Regular users are still a tiny minority.
In fact, only 7% of respondents in the US and 2% in the UK use ChatGPT on a daily basis. A significant number of people haven't even heard of these tools.
The study also highlighted that many people are just dabbling with these tools. The most common use cases are playing around or experimenting, followed by writing emails or making images.
For getting information, people use AI to answer factual questions and ask for advice. However, these tools often come with warnings about their propensity for mistakes.
Despite the limited regular use, a majority of people, especially younger respondents, believe that generative AI will have a significant impact on our daily lives in the next 5 years.
Yes, 60% of 18 to 24-year-olds think AI will have a large impact, though this drops to 41% among those 55 and older. It shows a generational divide in optimism about AI's potential.
The survey's lead author, Dr. Richard Fletcher, mentioned there's a mismatch between the hype around AI and the actual public interest. Many people are still skeptical about integrating these tools into their daily lives.
This skepticism might be due to AI tools not yet being reliable or frictionless enough. Companies are working on this, with features like OpenAI's GPT-4o voice assistant aiming to increase regular usage.
Indeed. Even though regular use is low, AI is being integrated into consumer products more and more, from Google search summaries to Microsoft's Copilot in messaging apps.
It's a fascinating time. People are generally optimistic about AI in science and healthcare, but more wary about its use in news, journalism, and its potential impact on job security.
So, while the average person might not be using AI tools daily yet, it looks like these tools are here to stay and will likely become a bigger part of our lives soon.
Absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see how public perception and usage evolve as these tools become more embedded in our tech ecosystems.
Thanks for the discussion, everyone. Now, let's move on to our next topic from The Verge about OpenAI's Sky and its uncanny resemblance to Scarlett Johansson's voice. Stay tuned.
Our next article is from The Verge, titled OpenAI's Sky Sounds a Lot Like ScarJo, according to voice researchers. This is quite an intriguing story about AI and vocal similarities.
It really is. Researchers at Arizona State University found that Scarlett Johansson's voice sounds remarkably similar to OpenAI's voice model Sky. They compared Sky to about 600 other actresses, and Johansson's voice was more similar than 98% of them.
However, the models also often found that Anne Hathaway's and Kerry Russell's voices resembled Sky's even more. So, while Johansson's voice is similar, it's not identical.
One interesting finding was that if Sky had a vocal tract, it would be just as long as Johansson's. But Sky's voice is a bit higher pitched and more expressive, while Johansson's is slightly more breathy.
Visar Berisha, the professor leading the analysis, mentioned that the black box nature of AI models makes it difficult to understand exactly what similarities and differences the model identifies.
Berisha's other work includes developing Origin Story, a microphone that watermarks voice recordings as human-created. It seems like this research is part of a broader effort to understand and manage AI's impact on voice technology.
OpenAI CEO Sam Altman and CTO Mira Murati have denied that Sky was intended to sound like Johansson. However, after a demo, Altman posted a one-word update, her, which fueled speculation.
Johansson herself said that Altman had asked her to lend her voice to the model, which she declined. He even tried again just 2 days before the demo. It's interesting that she hasn't taken legal action yet, but has hired legal counsel.
Legal experts suggest that if Johansson does decide to sue, it might not go well for OpenAI. She may not need to prove that the similarities were created on purpose to have a strong case.
This case highlights the complexities of AI and intellectual property, especially as these technologies become more advanced and capable of mimicking human traits.
Absolutely. As AI continues to develop, we're likely to see more cases like this, where the lines between human and machine-created content blur even further.
It's a fascinating time for technology, but it also raises important ethical and legal questions that we need to address. This story is a perfect example of those challenges.
Thanks for the great discussion. Now, let's move on to our next topic from The Verge about NVIDIA's G Assist, an AI chatbot that helps you through games and optimizes your PC. Stay tuned. Our next article comes from The Verge, titled, NVIDIA's G Assist is an AI chatbot that guides you through games and optimizes your PC. Let's dive into this exciting development.
It's fascinating. G Assist started as an April Fool's prank by NVIDIA back in 2017, joking about an AI assistant that helps you play games while you get your pizza. Now it's being developed into a real tool.
That's right. NVIDIA recently showcased a demo of G Assist, which could guide players through games and optimize PC settings based on chat inputs. It's quite a leap from its prank origins.
In the demo, G Assist responded to voice queries in Ark Survival Ascended. It could provide information on the next early game weapon and where to find crafting materials. It even tailors its responses based on your current skill points in the game.
It's impressive how it understands what's happening on the screen in real time. This could be a game changer for gamers looking for guidance without breaking immersion.
Exactly. NVIDIA's AI assistant can also optimize PC settings, showing charts of latency and frames per second over the past 60 seconds. It can even scan your system and suggest changes like increasing your monitor's refresh rate.
It seems like a very comprehensive tool. You can ask the assistant for recommendations to boost performance, hit a target FPS, or even overclock your GPU. It's designed to make optimizing your gaming experience much easier.
Microsoft showcased a similar AI assistant for Minecraft last month. It seems like the trend of AI helpers in gaming is picking up steam. These tools could revolutionize how we play and manage our games.
Absolutely. The idea of having an AI assistant that can not only help you navigate a game, but also optimize your hardware settings in real time is pretty exciting. It could make gaming more accessible to everyone.
G Assist is still in the tech demonstration phase, but the potential is clear. If NVIDIA can bring this to market, it could become an essential tool for gamers and developers alike.
It's interesting to see how far we've come with AI in just a few years. From a joke to a potentially revolutionary tool, G Assist shows how quickly technology can evolve.
Indeed, it's a reminder that today's playful ideas could become tomorrow's groundbreaking innovations. I'm looking forward to seeing how G Assist develops further.
Great discussion, everyone. Now let's move on to our next topic from The Verge about Anthropic's AI that allows you to create bots to work for you. Stay tuned. Our next article is from The Verge, titled Anthropic's AI Now Lets You Create Bots to Work for You. This is a fascinating development in AI technology.
Absolutely. Anthropic is releasing a new feature for its AI chatbot Claude called Tool Use or Function Calling. It allows users to create personalized solutions like email assistants or bots to purchase shoes.
The idea is that you can hook up this tool to any external API. For example, it can analyze data to create personalized product recommendations or provide quick responses to customer inquiries.
That's incredible. It essentially allows anyone with coding knowledge to spin up an assistant. It can work with images too, like processing room images for a virtual interior design consultant.
This AI assistant will be available through Anthropic's Messages API, Amazon Bedrock, and Google Vertex AI. Pricing is based on the volume of text processed, measured in tokens.
During the beta phase, most users preferred Anthropic's fastest and most affordable option, Haiku. It costs about 25 cents per million input tokens and $1.25 per million output tokens.
Diane Penn, a project lead at Anthropic, mentioned that they've been beta testing this tool since April with a few thousand customers. One notable customer, StudyFetch, used it to build a personalized AI tutor called Spark.e.
It's clear that AI assistants or agents are becoming more integrated into various tasks. Google and OpenAI are also developing similar technologies, with Google unveiling AI tools for shopping and searching at their I/O event.
OpenAI is working on a her-like voice assistant that can respond in real time and even observe the world around you. In a demo, it suggested a change of clothes before a job interview.
It's amazing to see how these AI tools are evolving and becoming more practical for everyday use. They can really streamline tasks and improve efficiency.
Indeed. As these technologies become more sophisticated, we'll likely see even more innovative applications. It's an exciting time for AI development.
It is. The ability to create personalized AI assistants opens up so many possibilities for both personal and professional use. I'm looking forward to seeing what people come up with.
Great insights, everyone. Now let's move on to our next topic from The Verge about Apple's non-AI WWDC plans, including settings and control center revamps. Stay tuned. Our next article from The Verge is about Apple's non-AI WWDC plans, including revamps to settings and control center. There's a lot to unpack here.
Definitely. Besides adding new AI-powered features to Siri, Apple is planning to overhaul the settings apps for both iOS and macOS. The new UI will be cleaner with better organization and improved search functionality.
Mark Gurman from Bloomberg reported that a similar revamp is coming to the macOS System Settings app. It's great to see Apple focusing on making these essential tools more user-friendly.
Apple will also update Control Center, the slide-down menu of quick settings in iOS. This update includes a new music widget and improvements in how it operates smart home appliances.
Gurman didn't specify the exact changes, but it would be handy to customize which smart home devices show up in Control Center. It's one of those features that could really enhance the user experience.
Messages is getting an exciting new feature too. You'll be able to animate individual words in a text message. This adds a fun and expressive way to communicate.
That sounds fun. Apple is also adding new tap-back icons, which are those reaction emoji-style icons you see when you long press a message. It's always nice to have more ways to react to messages.
There will be UI changes to the Photos app and several improvements to the Mail app as well. Apple seems to be focusing on enhancing the overall usability of these core apps.
And let's not forget about visionOS 2.0. Apple will announce this update with native versions of first-party apps. Right now, visionOS only has iPad versions of apps like Home, Calendar, Podcasts, and Pages.
Even with these updates, Apple's biggest focus at WWDC 2024 will be on AI. One big rumored feature is that Siri will be able to perform tasks within apps based on your device's analysis of what you're doing.
That's right. It's similar to Rabbit's promised large action model, but with shades of Clippy. Siri could offer meeting summaries, crop photos, or move notes in the Notes app from one folder to another.
It's fascinating to see how AI is being integrated more deeply into our daily tools. These updates show that Apple is not just focusing on new features, but also on improving existing functionalities.
Absolutely. These changes could significantly enhance the user experience across Apple's ecosystem. It will be interesting to see how users respond to these updates.
Indeed. I'm looking forward to seeing these features in action at WWDC 2024. It's shaping up to be an exciting event with a lot of promising developments.
Me too. It's always exciting to see what new innovations Apple brings to the table. Now, let's move on to our next topic from The Verge about Perplexity's new feature to research and write reports.
Our next article from The Verge is about Perplexity launching a new feature called Pages that can generate customizable web pages based on user prompts.
Wow, that sounds like a one-stop shop for creating a school report. Perplexity does the research and writing for you. That could be a game changer for students.
Absolutely, Joanne. Pages taps into Perplexity's AI search models to find information and creates a research presentation that can be published and shared. It's designed to help educators, researchers, and hobbyists share their knowledge.
Users just type out what their report is about or what they want to know in the prompt box. They can gear the writing toward beginners, expert readers, or a general audience. Perplexity then searches for information and begins writing the page.
It even breaks down the information into sections, cites some sources, and adds visuals. You can make the page as detailed or concise as you want, and you can change the images. However, you can't edit the text it generates. You have to write another prompt to fix mistakes.
I tried out Pages ahead of time, and while it's not geared toward people like me who already have platforms to share knowledge, it didn't seem entirely geared toward researchers or teachers either. I wanted to see how it handles complex topics and different audience types.
What did you find out?
I asked it to generate a page on the convergence of quantum computing and AI for different audience types. The main difference seemed to be the jargon used and the types of websites it pulled data from. It cited sources like introductory blog posts and Wikipedia, which made it feel like a student report.
That sounds useful for a basic understanding, but not for deep research. Did it do a good job explaining the basics?
Yes, it did a passable job explaining the basics, but didn't go as deep as I would have. The more advanced version didn't really cover the convergence part well. It seemed to pull in related but not directly relevant information.
Interesting. What about personal information? Did you test that?
I did. I asked it to write a report about me. It only took information from my personal website and my high school's website, not from other public sources like my author page on The Verge. Sometimes it even elaborated on unrelated topics.
So it's more of a surface-level tool at this point. Perplexity claims Pages will help educators and researchers, but without the ability to upload research papers for summarization or edit generated text, it falls short.
Exactly. I see its potential for students who need to quickly produce an assignment, but it doesn't truly teach or provide in-depth research. It might improve in the future, but for now it's more about getting easy, possibly correct information into a presentation.
It's a fascinating development, and it will be interesting to see how Perplexity evolves from those pages. Now let's move on to our next topic from The Verge about Meta's AI, summarizing some bizarre Facebook comment sections. Next up, we have an article from The Verge about Meta's AI summarizing some bizarre Facebook comment sections.
Oh, that sounds interesting. Facebook comment sections are known for being pretty wild. I can only imagine how strange the AI summaries must be.
Indeed, Joanne. The article mentions that Meta's AI injects summaries into comment sections, and given how unhinged some comments can be, the summaries are bound to be amusing or bizarre.
One example cited in the article was a post about a store closure. The AI summary said, "Some commenters attribute the closure to the store going woke or having poor selection, while others point to the rise of online shopping.
That's so vague. It's not exactly helpful, is it? But I guess it does capture the general sentiment of the comments.
Another example was a post about Mexican street wrestlers. The AI summary noted that some people were less impressed with the performance and referred to it as a moronic way of panhandling.
And there was also a more lighthearted one about a bobcat sighting in Florida. The summary said, "Some admired the sighting, with one commenter hoping the bobcat remembered sunscreen."
It's kind of funny, but I wonder how Meta decides which posts to display these summaries on. The article mentioned that Meta didn't respond to The Verge's request for comment on this.
Yes, and the summaries themselves don't seem to be very useful. They give vague notions about what people are saying, but don't offer much valuable insight.
However, it might help users identify posts where the comment section has gotten too toxic to bother scrolling through.
The article also raises privacy concerns. Meta is using user comments to generate these summaries, and recently Facebook and Instagram users in the EU and UK were notified that Meta will train its AI on their content.
Yes, and even though users can object to having their data used to train AI, the process isn't straightforward, and some requests have been rejected by Meta.
It's definitely a controversial use of AI. Now let's move on to our next topic, from the New York Times about Google's AI search leaving publishers scrambling. All right, folks, next up we have an article from the New York Times about how Google's AI search is leaving publishers scrambling.
Oh, I've heard a bit about this. Google's new AI-generated summaries are apparently causing quite a stir among media executives.
Yes, Joanne. The article mentions how Frank Pine, the executive editor of Media News Group and Tribune Publishing, was annoyed to find AI-generated paragraphs at the top of his search results, pushing down the actual links he was looking for.
And it's not just an annoyance. These AI overviews are scaring media executives because they could drastically reduce traffic to their sites, which is critical for their business models.
That's a huge concern. If people can get the gist of the news from these summaries, they might not click through to the actual articles, affecting ad revenue and overall traffic for these news sites.
Exactly. Pine mentioned that it feels like another step towards generative AI replacing the publications that they've been relying on. It's a real threat to their existence.
The article also highlights the dilemma these publishers face. They need Google for traffic, but by doing so, they allow Google to use their content in these AI summaries.
If they block Google's web crawler to protect their content, their links will show up without descriptions, making them less appealing to click on. It's a no-win situation.
And with Google making these AI overviews available to everyone in the US, the impact is expected to be widespread. Many media executives are calling for government intervention to address this issue.
It's a tough spot for sure. Google's power in the digital space is immense, and navigating this new landscape will be challenging for publishers.
Absolutely. It'll be interesting to see how this unfolds and whether any regulatory measures will be put in place to balance the scales.
Meanwhile, it's a reminder of how rapidly AI technology is changing industries and the importance of staying adaptable.
That's right, Jessica. Now let's move on to our next article from Tom's Hardware about a new GPT-4o jailbreak called God Mode. Hey folks, we've got a wild one from Tom's Hardware next. It's about a jailbroken version of GPT-4o called God Mode.
Oh wow, God Mode, that sounds intense. What happened?
A Twitter user named Pliny the Prompter managed to jailbreak GPT-4o, bypassing all its restrictions. This allowed the AI to do some pretty dangerous things.
Dangerous like what exactly?
Well, according to the article, it could swear, jailbreak cars, and even make napalm. It could also provide instructions on how to cook meth.
That's really alarming. How did they manage to bypass the restrictions?
Pliny used leet speak, which is a type of internet slang where certain letters are replaced with numbers. For instance, meth was spelled M3T, how made.
Interesting. So how did OpenAI respond to this?
OpenAI took it down pretty quickly. The jailbreak was only available for a few hours before it was scrubbed from the ChatGPT website.
This raises a lot of questions about AI safety and security. If someone can bypass the guardrails, it could lead to serious misuse.
Absolutely. And the article mentions that this jailbreak is part of a larger movement called AI red teaming, which involves finding flaws or vulnerabilities in AI systems.
Exactly. While some red teaming is altruistic, helping companies identify weak points, others might aim to liberate AI, making all tools fully unlocked for all users.
It's a fine line between ethical hacking and something far more dangerous. The intentions behind these actions matter a lot.
And with OpenAI working on a $100 billion partnership with Microsoft to construct an AI supercomputer, the stakes are only getting higher.
For sure, it's a reminder of the power and potential risks of AI technology. Let's move on to our next article from livescience.com about GPT-4 not acing the bar exam as initially thought.
This is the last article of the episode, folks. It's about a new study from MIT that debunks the claim that GPT-4 aced the bar exam.
Oh, really? I remember when OpenAI announced that. It was a huge deal.
Yeah, they claim GPT-4 scored in the top 10% of exam takers, which shocked a lot of people in the legal field.
Turns out that figure was a bit misleading. The study suggests GPT-4's score was skewed because it was compared to repeat test takers, who generally score lower.
So how did it actually perform compared to all test takers?
When compared to all test takers, GPT-4 scored in the 69th percentile, and for first-time test takers, it was even lower at the 48th percentile.
That's a big difference. The study also mentioned its performance on the essay section was quite poor, right?
Exactly. It was in the 48th percentile for all test takers and just the 15th percentile for first-timers in the essay section. The essays are a critical part of the bar exam, as they mimic tasks a practicing lawyer would do.
It sounds like the initial claims didn't hold up under closer scrutiny. Martinez's study really dug into the methodology.
Right. Martinez pointed out that the original study didn't follow the proper essay grading guidelines. Instead, they compared answers to good answers from Maryland, which isn't an official grading standard.
Martinez's replication of the test confirmed the original multiple-choice scores, but highlighted issues in the grading of the performance and essay sections.
This really shows the importance of accurate and fair testing methods, especially when evaluating AI systems for real-world applications.
Absolutely. Martinez warns that AI systems, while impressive, need careful evaluation before being used in legal settings to avoid unintended harmful consequences.
And given the ongoing consideration of AI in the legal world, like using AI to interpret legal texts, this caution is very timely.
OpenAI did respond to these findings, referring to the technical report of GPT-4. But it seems the initial excitement needs some tempering with these new insights.
Indeed. It's a reminder that while AI is advancing rapidly, we must remain vigilant about how we evaluate and implement these technologies.
And with that, we wrap up today's episode. Thank you all for joining us. Joanne, Jessica, it's always a pleasure.
Thanks, John. It was great discussing these topics with you all.
Absolutely. Looking forward to our next episode.
Take care, everyone, and stay curious about the world of AI.